first age, in the first battle, when the shadows first lengthened, one stood. He chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. And those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doomslayer.
What is up, YouTube gang? Welcome back to episode 4 of V-Talks, and today I am going to be talking about Doom and Doom Eternal. So this is a series that I had recently been introduced to. Actually, I wasn't a fan of it beforehand, and it was actually something new that I had found with all the memes of the Doomslayer and all of that stuff popping up, and I figured I'd give the game a try. And I really wanted to talk about how much the Doom guy have influenced my characters as far as some of the things that I have in my game. So I'll just get right into it. Doom is a video game that's about, you're just playing a complete badass who runs around killing demons and saving the world. But what I think captures people most for this most recent part of the series is its adrenaline and hype that comes with the music that Mick Gordon composed. I have some of it in this video, and it just feels good. It's raw power that just makes you feel incredible. So the thing about Doomslayer that I wanted to talk about was him being a iron fortress, him being a strong, independent character that can just run and mow through hordes of villains and demons with no help whatsoever, and being very enigmatic while doing all of it. I've put a little bit of effort into recognizing there's a trope in making a character like that, just a complete Mary Sue who's incredibly strong, fast, and edgy. And a lot of people look at this type of character and it goes one of two ways. Either this character is kind of bland and boring, or this character is totally awesome and people love it. I have in my game different types of slayers as well. It's not necessarily based off Doom or anything like that, but I do have a sect in my D&D that has demon slayers, and I do have some of them modeled in a sense off of the Doomslayer, as well as Guts from Berserk, as well as some other influences I've had. And part of what makes these characters interesting is the aspect of their lives that is broken. Sure, they have the I'm going to murder everything in front of me with no difficulty and I'm crazy and all that stuff, but you got to think about what sort of emotional toll that takes on these guys. They don't have personalities, they don't have relationships. All they can do is one thing and one thing only, which is cool as a character, but as a person you got to think about how much that would really jack you up, and that is what I think makes some of the characters interesting and not as bland as what a lot of people would think. The background of a character having emotional issues is what makes them feel more real sometimes. The thing that people look at when they're looking at a character that you're role-playing, of course, is they're looking at the aspects of what makes this character believable. If a character is running through a city of demons, murdering everything with reckless abandon and not taking any damage, you're gonna think to yourself, well, that's totally not realistic or any sort of reliable that I would look at and say, oh yeah, this is like a real person. It's when they're not doing that is what you're going to observe. When you're looking at them as people outside of combat, because the combat is just the game mechanic to roll dice and fight things and beat things up. But outside of that, in the quote-unquote real world of your game that you might be running or the game that you're playing, the realistic thing is going to be when you have them not react to people because they have some sort of mental issue, it's going to make you feel like these guys have something going on with themselves. They've got something inside of them that they can't talk to other people about, and they don't even know how to. Everybody has their own mental issues. Everybody has their own insecurities, and I bet even these types of guys, though it's not shown in gameplay or anything like that, these types of people would also have the same thing. What would they think about with anybody who could potentially be a relationship for them? Well, they could never have relationships. What would these kind of guys think about when it comes to having a social event? They would be too worried about fighting something or something attacking them. They could never relax. And having such a high stress factor of that would make these characters only work as a lone wolf type person. Now I know that the point of the Doomslayer and all these crazy guys is to just have fun and watch somebody murder stuff. That's the point of that character. That's why they exist. And I see that and I enjoy that. That's what I liked about Doom, was just running around and killing stuff, and that was cool. The thing I'm talking about is when it comes to real life situations or in-game as far as roleplay goes for D&D or other things like that, because the channel seems to be leaning heavy towards D&D and the psychology of D&D, because I put that in a high standard for myself. But this can even apply to things in real life too, believe it or not. When I was in high school, I had a portion of time where I tried to be kind of like one of these guys where I was quiet and just seemed edgy and dangerous, and people were like, I'm not going to be around that guy ever. It was not enjoyable for me or anybody else, because it's not a way to commute with people. That's not a way to socialize in real life. But that's why it's a good video game character and not a real life person. So that's about all I got as far as the talking of psychology of the character goes, because it's lost on some people. I feel like it's not something that everybody is interested in, so I'll just talk about now some of the things that I liked about Doom. I didn't play the Doom 2016. I just beat Doom Eternal yesterday as of recording this video, and I really loved the difficulty of it. I know some people probably didn't have a hard time with it, but I kind of did. It was a difficult time for me because I wasn't used to playing shooters, and I also wasn't used to it being such a fast-paced game when you're playing games like Dark Souls and stuff like that. It was a different experience for me, and I had a lot of fun running around and shooting stuff and blowing stuff up. And there were times where it got pretty intense when they have the Baron of Hell come in, and then they have the 10 Cacodemons come in, and the Arc Vial. I hate those things. And just to wrap it all up, they'll have the Marauder come in to finish you off. It gets pretty intense in that game, and they have the platform set up to have a lot of fun running around and jumping over stuff. It was something that I haven't experienced in a long time. It reminded me of when I used to play games a lot as a kid. There was a lot of those levels where you would fight things, and then you would do the parkour and stuff to get to the next little area where you fight more things. It's really just that, but it was refreshing to do some of that. And then once you start getting cheat codes, it like unlocks the easy mode where you're like, okay, now I can just hold on the R2 button and run around and just look at the animations and stuff. So I think all of that was really nifty. I kind of want to play the 2016 version, but I know it's going to be more of the same. So it's, do I want to play the same game again, even though I know they got their own things going on. And I have heard consistently that the 2016 Doom is better than Doom Eternal, so I probably should play that one just to get the experience of playing the better version. But I think I've got the gist of it. I had fun doing it, but it's not something I'm going to do all the time. For now, I'd like to stick to working on my art and producing things better and working on it. And if I'm playing games all the time, I'm just going to be preventing myself from achieving my goal. But as far as the design for this character, I really loved drawing this one. The sword was probably my favorite part because of the red energy-like beam. It was fun. And I'd also like to make note, with this drawing, I feel like I did make a step up as far as artistic wise goes, I was learning some new things about shading in this one that I haven't necessarily practiced as much. I still have a hard time with coloring after I get the black and white, but that's just stuff I gotta figure out. So that about wraps it up for what I got for this video. It was really fun. I love Doom, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. Next video, I'm going to go back to an original character that I had made and going over who they are, what they're all about, and things that they apply to, probably in my D&D, but I might branch out and do some other stuff too, so you never know. Well, this is my final product. I hope you guys like it. Be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and go over to Instagram and follow me on Lord Ventilus and Jigon Fantas. I will catch you guys on the next episode of V-Talks.